It's a thrill to be able to preach on one of the great A.A. Allen revival telecasts. My heart's just turning over because I've got something to say. Amen. I hope that we'll be able to answer some questions, amen, that's being asked about restoration and miracle revival. I want you to take note of a portion of Scripture that you'll find in 2 Kings, the 5th chapter. And we're going to be speaking about an incident that happened. And we're going to take it from the Old Testament, from the past into the present, down to this very time that God is moving in a special way. This is the hour of deliverance. This is the day that God is moving. But in the Old Testament, there was a man by the name of Naaman. He was a great man. He was a man of great power and authority. The Bible said that he was captain of the host of the king of Syria, and he had authority to do great and mighty exploits. He had even gone down into God's country, down into Israel, and he had taken out of Israel captive a little maiden, and many victories he had won because of his daring faith, as far as his ability to fight and to organize and to do a great job for his king. But there was one thing about this man that was wrong with him. Something made him different, even though he was a man of great ability. Oh, and people respected him. Yet there was one thing about this man that no one could stand. Even though he'd done all these great things, it was a shameful sight to see him walking down the street. This man was a leper, and no matter what he did, no matter how he dressed, this one fact remained, that he was a leper. He was dying. Oh, this cancerous thing was devouring his body. Oh, and those that he would desire have a company with, those he would desire to fellowship with, could not and would not have nothing to do with him because he was unclean. No matter what he had done, it didn't make any difference. But he was unclean. He was unclean. He was unholy. He needed deliverance. He needed help. And this made him different from everybody else. One day the little maid, the Bible said, the woman that waited upon Naaman's wife, she began to talk to him. She said, surely there's something we can do about this. Said, you know, there is a prophet, there is a revival going on down in Israel. Said in Samaria, and said, you know, if Naaman would go down there, I'm sure that he could be healed of his leprosy. And somebody told the king about it. And the king took a letter. He said, Naaman, I want you to, I want you to go and get deliverance, that you might be able to do the thing that I will call you to do. And Naaman took a lovely train of horses with all kinds of lovely silver and gold and all kinds of beautiful changes of garments and raiment. And he went on his way to go down to this great revival and get his healing. But listen to me, after he had worked and walked and had ridden and gone over hill and dale and valley, he came to the place where the revival was supposed to be going on. But I want you to know, when he went inside, it wasn't like the revival he had expected. Everything was cold, dead, and formal. He thought, I wonder what I will receive here. And he walked up to the king. He said, King of Israel, here's a letter from my king, and he wants you to recover my leprosy. No, the king looked at him. He said, my God, what are you doing this for? Said, you know just as surely as I know that I cannot heal you. Am I God that I can raise the dead? Am I God that I can set free? He said, this is an unjust cause. Said, your king is trying to pick a quarrel with me. Now listen, this man was king over Israel. He was the spiritual leader of that day and time. There was revival going on, but he didn't know anything about healing, didn't know anything about miracles, didn't know anything about the power of God. Yet he was a symbol even of revival for Israel, but he didn't know the first thing and the first step in deliverance. I want you to know. He said, what I do? Oh, listen, he had gone expecting deliverance, but the deliverer wasn't there. You know why? Because he wasn't popular. He hadn't received an invitation. He hadn't been asked to be there. But nevertheless, God knew what was going on. This man came into the king and said, I want to be healed. He said, I can't do anything about it. Listen to one smart thing that Naaman did. He decided, oh boy, if you can't help me, I'll not give you my tithe. I'll not give you my offering. I'll not give you my silver. I'll not give you my gold. You're not going to die from me. Amen. Said, I made up my mind. Oh, said, he was Rabakusa. Amen. He had paid too many pledges to somebody that was serving a dead God. Somebody didn't believe. Listen, salvation's all right. It's just the beginning, though. There's so much more that God's got. He went to Samaria. Now, there was a revival going on in Samaria, but it wasn't the same revival. He went to the wrong revival. He went to the wrong man. Oh, but God was on the scene. God began to speak. And God spoke to a man because, a great prophet in that land. When the king said, my God, am I God that I can raise from the dead? Am I God that heal those that are died? How am I God that I can recover leprosy? He said, no, I can't do this thing. But God was talking to a prophet by the name of Elisha. And God spoke to Elisha and said, Elisha, there's a man that's come, but he's at the wrong place. He's in the wrong revival. Amen. All he's going to get, amen, is a handshake, backslapping, head scratching experience. Said, you need to get to him. You need to preach this message of deliverance. Also, Elisha sent a letter. And here's what it said. He said, listen, he said, tell this man that there is a prophet in Israel. And he said these words. He said, and send him to me. You listen to me. I want you to know the preachers today are afraid to pray for the sick. The preachers today are afraid to preach even the gospel of deliverance. All because they don't know nothing about it. Many times the reason they don't cast out devils is because the devil inside of them is bigger than the one inside of somebody else. You hear me? Amen. You've got to have power with God if you expect to do the work that God called you to do.